Got that star up there, Jenny? Won't tip over. Then tip the whole tree over. Here, let me fix it. Good job. Breaking news on CNBC today. The largest aircraft order in U.S. history, United Airlines put an order in for 100 Boeing 787 Dreamliners with options for 100 more, a deal totaling $30 billion. It's time for a long overdue Boeing update and what this means to the industry. My name's Juan Brown. You're watching the Blanco Lirio channel. It's Tuesday, the 13th of December, and this 787 deal by United Airlines, these aircraft will primarily be replacing older aircraft, older Boeing 767s and 777s at United Airlines. But United is also going to be expanding their international route. So what that means to all of you Blanco Lirio viewers that are getting into aviation, this is opportunity. Wide body expansion means growth throughout the entire seniority system at an airline. With the 34% proposed raised at Delta Airlines as airline unions and airline pilot wages get caught up to inflation, this means that as a wide-body captain, you will have the ability to earn nearly $500,000 per year if you work hard enough at it. The big question is, will Boeing be able to deliver on this promise? They already have a 450 aircraft or so backlog on the 787. Why? Why does Boeing have all these troubles? Because Boeing lost its way and they lost trust. Aviation is primarily built on the assumption of trust. We trust you will do your job. We trust you will do your job to the best of your ability, and we trust that you will not lie to us about what it is that you are doing. When the Boeing 737 MAX debacle came all unwound, that's when Boeing lost our trust. Boeing's loss of trust comes from the 737 MAX debacle when they put shareholder value ahead of flying safety for the flying public. As a result, Congress got involved and the government got involved. And not only did they get involved with the 737 MAX and its certification process, but they also scrutinized the 787 assembly line. And that assembly line has been held up for nearly 2 years now and has just begun returning or producing aircraft to service here recently. American Airlines got one of the first 787s off the assembly line after this 15-month delay back in August of this year. Prior to this most recent announcement by United Airlines, it looks like Boeing has a total of 115 aircraft 787s that are built but still need to get through the scrutiny process before they are delivered. And they've got a net total order of 1,609 787 aircraft prior to this order by United. And prior to the pandemic and the loss of trust in the 737 MAX, it looks like the Boeing was able to produce about 150 aircraft per year of the 787 variety. Besides the 787, Boeing still has an unprecedented 5,000 order backlog on the new 737 MAX aircraft, of which they've only delivered 948, or as of 2022. And now Boeing wants to certify a new version, once again, the design of the 737 MAX to the 737-10 model, but it's running into the same regulatory hurdles that caused the entire 737 MAX debacle in the first place. Because of the loss of trust of the 737 MAX, Congress, you don't want to get Congress involved in your business, but Congress said that as of a date certain, all new certified modern airline aircraft will all have to have an ICAS system, an engine indication and crew alerting system built into it. The 737 series of aircraft never had an ICAS system built into it. And the problem is that if an ICAS system is developed and put into the stretched version, the Dash 10 version of the 737 MAX, that is enough of a change of the fundamental aircraft design as to require a new type certificate rating for those pilots that are going to fly the Dash 10 or ICAS equipped 737 MAX aircraft. If it doesn't require a type certificate rating ride, it will at least require additional new training for that variation of the 737 MAX that the airlines do not want to have to pay for. This date certain is coming up very soon, and the 737-10 is nowhere near ready for certification yet. So Boeing is banking on lobbying Congress to slip in some legislation, I believe in this latest omnibus spending bill, to keep the government running. You know, the way sausage is made around here. Slip in some legislation that will eliminate this requirement. Remember, as a line pilot, I am only allowed to fly one type of an aircraft at a time, to be trained up in one aircraft at a time, to have a type certificate rating ride for one airplane at a time. Right now, I'm on the Boeing 777. In order for me to switch over to the 737 or any other aircraft, 787, it requires about 4 to 5 weeks of training, full-time training at the schoolhouse, and costs the company a considerable amount of money to put each individual pilot through this training to pass the required check rides to get approved to fly a different aircraft. The Boeing 737 series or family of aircraft have a mix and match bunch of old technology and new technology. Here on the MAX, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4 big, beautiful computer screens on the aircraft, but there's no engine indication and crew alerting system that can be found on aircraft like the Boeing 777 or the 787. Instead, your various warnings and cautions, you still have the traditional old school master warning and caution light right here, but your warnings and cautions may be spread out throughout the instrument panel and overhead panel instead of centralized into a central engine indication and crew alerting system. So if an ICAS system is required for the Dash 10, it'll probably require pilots to get an additional type certificate rating ride just for the Dash 10 series of 737s. And this is exactly what they were trying to avoid the whole time with the entire 737 MAX program, with the introduction of MCAS, or the Maneuvering Characteristics Augmentation System. They needed to make the new version of the 737 MAX aircraft feel and handle enough like the older aircraft with the smaller engines so that it did not require a separate type certificate ride. It wasn't a matter of stability or instability or all the other crazy things you've heard about and promulgated by the media. It's simply a regulatory avoidance of keeping the 737 MAX in the same type certificate family of aircraft of all the 737s. Once you're checked out in one type of 737, whether it's the 300 or 400, you're checked out in the latest version of the 737 MAX. There's enough commonality to allow that in the eyes of the FAA. In the Boeing 777 and most modern airliners, you still have a master warning and caution light located right here in front of your nose. You can't miss it, along with all the aural warnings. But that then directs you to the ICAS located right here. So whatever problem you have with your aircraft is going to be represented right here, and then automatically the checklist for this problem is going to show up right here. And here's how it's supposed to work. The way that an ICAS system works on a modern aircraft like the Boeing 777 is if it's an enunciated emergency or problem with the aircraft, you'll first get a master warning or caution light and associated aural warning right in front of your face right here. And that's going to direct your attention to look right here. And this will tell you exactly what's wrong with the aircraft. You don't have to look all over creation to find out what's the problem with the aircraft. It's going to be noted right here. And then down here, automatically the checklist for this malfunction will appear right here. So all you got to do is say, somebody fly the aircraft, my aircraft, and the other person run the checklist that's going to be automatically pulled up right here to fix that problem. So this bit of news is big news for not only Boeing, United, and the overall economy. It's also big news for all of you that want to fly for the airlines. These wide-body jobs are the top of the pyramid. As a highly unionized, seniority-based system goes, growth at the top of that pyramid means growth throughout the entire seniority system as you work your way up into the wide-body aircraft to make the big bucks. The bigger the aircraft is, the more money you get paid per hour to operate that aircraft. Thanks so much for your support of this channel, especially the folks over on Patreon that make this content possible. See you here.